This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. Well, what's going on, Mountaineer fans? Welcome to episode 34 of Mountaineer Moment. Still here breaking down the Mountaineers' performance against the Utes of Utah, and it was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Mountaineers get blown out 48-14. And the episode previous to this one, we broke down that action, offense, defense, special teams, all that went wrong, and what it kind of means for the Mountaineers' outlook the rest of the season, and the quarterback situation and miscues, and how this defense isn't really showing resilience the last couple weeks like they showed through the first 3 games of the season. But here on Mountaineer Moment, we cover Mountaineer football and basketball, and bring several episodes throughout the week leading up to game day, and then, of course, post-game coverage. And this is one of those episodes breaking down what we just saw on the field, and not as, deep as that previous episode, which is really just a post-game reaction. So you can go check that one out. But this episode, we're going to talk about one specific thing that continues to be a topic of conversation, and that's this quarterback situation for the Mountaineers. The ongoing, ever-evolving, ever-changing situation that the Mountaineers have at the quarterback position. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to give my thoughts on what this should look like the rest of the season, given where we are now, sitting at 2-3 and 0-2 in conference play after 2 blowout losses. We said it on the last episode. Now Kansas and Utah combined score of those 2 games, 89-24. Not pretty, never good. And so Mountaineer Moment, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening or watching, please consider subscribing so you can be in the know when we have new content coming your way. And again, not a long episode right here, but we're going to talk about this quarterback situation, what it's looked like so far this season, and what it could look like, what I think it should look like heading down the stretch. So as the calendar turns to October, Mountaineers, through the first 4 games, obviously you start Nico Markiel, the lone returner in that quarterback room as far as playing time is concerned, and offense has struggled. Offense hasn't looked good. Is that all Nico Markiel? Absolutely not. This offensive line is really, really bad, and that was, that shouldn't come as a surprise. But we said all throughout the offseason that, look out for this offensive line. What are they going to do? What are we really going to have here? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is it going to be horrendous? And right now, it's leaning toward horrendous. And after you struggle on offense week after week, oftentimes it's easy to say, all right, let's go get a new quarterback. Let's play him. The Mountaineers have obviously done that in games this season. It was a revolving door against Pitt. You had Markiel, you had Scotty Fox, you had Jalen, and then you had Nico again, who came in and was the hero. And then after that, it was like all bets are off. This thing is wrapped. It's Nico's job. And then you come out and lay an egg against Kansas. Nico struggles. The offense as a whole struggles. Jalen Henderson plays a little bit and leads a touchdown drive and a blowout loss. Nico now is apparently hurt with a foot injury. He's not going to play against Utah. And it's like, okay, right? Breath of fresh air maybe. A little spark. Jalen Henderson's going to start at quarterback. Maybe, just maybe, this is the change you needed. And again, this is not a bash Nico episode in any way, but when we talked about it, we were extremely honest about it here on Mountaineer Moment last week when it was like, okay, maybe it is time for Jalen Henderson. And the primary reason I would say that is because of how bad this offensive line is in pass protection. And so, Jalen's a lot quicker, a lot more capable with his feet. When plays break down or quarterback design runs, you just go ahead and go, right? And you think, okay, now you got Utah coming to town, and they're pissed off because they just laid an egg against Texas Tech at home, and they're a good team. Utah is. And they drop from the rankings. And they come out and wreck you, and your offense looks horrible. Your offense doesn't look any better. Jalen Henderson throws for 22 passing yards and didn't do much with his legs either. Although the Mountaineers as a team, including a long, end-around run, had, I think 250 or something, averaged 5 yards a carry. And Khalil Wilkins comes in. And he looked better than Jalen Henderson did. I get we're not going to fall for that twice, right? Hopefully, Henderson checks in against Kansas and led a drive when Nico couldn't. Now, Khalil Wilkins comes in against Utah when Jalen Henderson struggled in a blowout game at this point. Wilkins comes in, leads a touchdown drive, gets some things done with his legs, connects with a deep ball to Cam Vaughn, who made a great play on the ball for the 39-yard touchdown. And, I get it. The fan base is just looking for answers, looking for something somewhere out of a quarterback. And, here we are. I recorded an episode a week ago saying, is it time for a change of quarterback? And we were talking about, Jalen Henderson. Now, 7 days later, we're sitting here thinking, Khalil Wilkins looked good. Right? It's comical, right? You go through even the YouTube thumbnails on this channel, and it's like, you say, after the Robert Morris game, it was like the quarterback controversy is over. And then after the Pitt game, it's like, no, really, the quarterback controversy is over. And then after the Kansas game, it's like, it's time for a change of quarterback. And after the Utah game, it's time for another change of quarterback. And I get that, but I'm not the only one doing this. I'm not the only one, putting out these teasing thumbnails out there, because it's like, this is what's going on in Rich Rodriguez's head too. And every other Mountaineer podcast out there. What are you going to do? And again, it's not, the thumbnail or whatever, the the conversation even now is misleading, because it's the offensive issues are not solely on the quarterback. It's on a terrible offensive line. And arguably your top three running backs, if you can include Sincere Bowers in that conversation, are out. And what are you doing, right? What's the answer? And I don't know. But what I will say, and now, again, is it fair to Nico and Jalen Henderson? No. Is it fair to any of these quarterbacks having to play with that offensive line? No. But what I will say is I have seen enough, right? I'm stamping my foot down, right? I've seen enough out of these veteran quarterbacks. Again, I'll say it until I turn blue in the face. It's not entirely their fault at all. But the fact of the matter is, here it is. After that build-up, here it is. You've lost 89-24 the last 2 weeks with veteran quarterbacks. You go out there and you start Khalil Wilkins at BYU next week. What's the worst that could happen? You lose 50-0. Worst that could happen. Right? That's the worst that could happen. And that's pretty much what's happened the last 2 weeks. You've gotten embarrassed. So who cares? Right? If there is any... Now, again, in the era of the transfer portal, it is so shaky. And Nico earned the job coming into the season. Rightfully so. I'm sure he did earn that job. Jalen Henderson probably was the second best quarterback heading into the season. I'm sure he earned that spot too. But if this is the performance that we're getting consecutive weeks to open up conference play, why the heck not start Khalil Wilkins or Scotty Fox the rest of the season? And back to my original point about the transfer portal, if there is, and it's so hard to know, I get that, but if there's any chance that Khalil Wilkins or Scotty Fox, and again, right now, maybe it is Khalil, based on what he did against Utah, again, against backups in a blowout game with in a half full stadium. But if there's any chance that he stays next, he's going to be here next year, there's any chance you see any potential of him being your starter in week 1 next season, just go ahead and start him now. Period. That's what I would do. If there is any chance that Khalil Wilkins will start week 1 next season, start him now. Because what we've learned is that changing quarterbacks and this constant rotation in and out of quarterbacks is not working. It doesn't matter who you start. It doesn't matter what veteran you start. You're still losing games, and you're still getting blown out, and you're still looking really bad. If there's any chance Khalil Wilkins can start for you at quarterback in week 1 in 2026, you might as well start him on the road against BYU. And I'm going to end right there. What do you got to lose? Another game? You're already losing them. So who cares? This is Mountaineer Moment, episode 34. And we'll have plenty of content covering that game. Countdown to kickoff for BYU. Again, on Friday night, late game, 10:30 kick on the East Coast. So we'll see what happens in that one. We'll see who's at quarterback. But we'll have plenty of content coming your way. Breaking that one down with the countdown to kickoff. So different episodes coming your way. So be sure to subscribe. Mountaineer Moment, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening or watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Mountaineer Moment.